You got a boy here named Jesse? The voice was too steady for someone shivering barefoot in the doorway. The girl looked about 12. Her cheeks were raw, skirt frayed, arms dirt smudged to the elbow. She clutched a wooden spoon like it meant something. No, the woman said. She didn't move from the stove. Ain't no boy here. The girl didn't blink. He told me to come here. Who did? Jesse. The woman stirred the pot. The air smelled of cabbage and broth. You must be cold. I'm not. You're barefoot. I didn't lose 'em. I just don't like 'em. The woman turned. Her eyes stayed low, on the girl's feet. You from up the ridge? I came from where Jesse was. The girl tightened her grip on the spoon. The woman stepped back from the stove and pointed at the table. Are you hungry? I already ate, but I'll sit. You can sit, but you'll eat. The girl slid onto the bench. The spoon clunked onto the floor. She didn't notice, or didn't care. The woman set down a bowl. No grace, just meat, broth, 2 stale slices of bread. You said Jesse told you to come here? The girl nodded. He said this place is safe. Jesse's dead. The woman's voice didn't crack. Been dead 3 years. The girl kept chewing. I know. They ate in silence. The girl's hair was short, cut unevenly, the kind of cut done with a blade and no mirror. Her left cheek had a scratch that looked recent. You alone? I don't follow anyone. That's not what I asked. I sleep where I don't get noticed. Last night was a barn. Which one? Yours, the girl said. The woman's mouth stopped chewing. You didn't know. That's how I pick 'em. You sleep under the corn bin? Number under the table in the shed. The woman set her spoon down. I'm not here to steal, the girl said. Then what are you here for? He said you had a quiet house. Who? Jesse. The wind creaked the back door. Somewhere a screen thudded once, then settled. What's your name? The girl shrugged. You don't know it? I don't like saying it. You've been hurt. The girl didn't answer. The woman stood. I walked to the corner where the spoon lay. I picked it up. It had something carved in the handle, nearly rubbed out. She squinted. J.E. Don't read it. The girl snapped. He gave it to me. It's his. The woman stared at the spoon. She put it on the table. The girl yanked it back. You think I'm lying, she said. I think I've had a long day. You don't believe Jesse talks. I think he's buried 2 hills over and doesn't talk much from there. He talks just fine if you know how to hear. The woman sat. The girl's eyes never left her face. You got that look, the girl said. What look? Same as him. Sad, but not the crying kind. You say things that are awfully strange for a child. You say things like, you're scared to know I'm right. The woman glanced at the window. Nothing out there but fields and dusk. You stay tonight, just tonight. I know. Under the table, not in the shed. I like the table better. You'll bathe before bed. If I have to. You do. The girl stood and carried her bowl to the sink. She stood on tiptoe, washed it without asking, then dried it. The woman watched her the whole time. You said Jesse gave you that spoon. He said you gave it to him. I didn't. He said you did, right before the fire. The woman's shoulders drew back. You best not talk about that. I'm not scared of fire. Or of you. You should be scared of someone. The girl stepped back from the sink. Why? Because being alone makes you stupid. I'm not stupid. You're young and barefoot and showing up where you don't belong. I belong here. Jesse said so. The woman leaned in. Jesse's not here. Jesse's never coming back. The girl didn't blink. I know, she said. That night, the woman left a blanket folded on the bench. The girl crawled beneath the table without a word. Her spoon was tucked into the front of her dress. She pulled it out and held it flat in both hands like a prayer. The woman watched from the doorway. Do you need anything? Quiet. You'll get that here. That's what he said. The woman turned off the lamp. Sometime after midnight, the floor creaked. She didn't rise, just stared at the dark ceiling. She heard the girl whisper, not words, a hum, like a lullaby without melody, then soft. Jesse. The name came out low, like she was scared of waking someone. Jesse, again, firmer, then quieter, like a promise. The woman closed her eyes. Her hand moved to her chest, stayed there. Outside, the wind shifted direction. A shutter clapped once. In the kitchen, the girl whispered again. She still doesn't believe it, but I do. I heard you. I'm here. The woman didn't sleep that night. In the morning, the girl was already at the sink, spoon in hand, washing it again. You said just one night, she said. I remember. Can I stay another? You got work for you. I can clean. You know how to mend. A little. Have you ever fixed fences? No, ma'am. Then I'll teach you. I don't mind that. The woman poured coffee. The girl didn't ask for any. That spoon, the woman said. Where'd he get it? He carved it. Said it was for the days you didn't talk. He said that? He said sometimes your silence was the safest thing in the house. The woman stared at the cup in her hand. Did he say anything else? The girl nodded. He said I'd have to remind you who you were. I know who I am. Not lately. The woman picked up a biscuit from the counter, tossed it to the girl. Eat. Then we start with the fence. The girl bit into the biscuit. Thank you, she said. For what? For not asking what I saw. The woman looked away. You keep the spoon, but you won't say his name. Again. I only say it when he tells me to. He won't. The girl nodded, like she didn't agree but didn't need to say it. Outside, the sky was the same as yesterday. Inside, the floor creaked once more as the girl passed by. The spoon stayed in her hand. And the woman. She started listening for things she swore she'd buried. The spoon tapped once against the ceramic bowl. Then again. And then came the whisper. The woman froze, hand midair with the bread knife. The whisper wasn't the girl's voice. It was low, strained, like something waking up slowly in the throat of the house. Who said that? The woman asked. The girl kept eating. Her lips never moved. You didn't hear that? The girl blinked. I heard you stop cutting. I said, I didn't say anything. The woman sat. I watched the girl take another spoonful of potatoes like nothing had changed. You said something last night, under the table. I talk in my sleep. You said Jesse's name. The girl swallowed. You said he told you I don't believe. Maybe I did. I don't remember. You remember everything. Not everything matters. The woman picked up her coffee. The spoon clinked again. You always carry it? It's mine. Still looks like him. I told you, it is his. You mean was. I mean it. The woman pushed back from the table. The chair scraped loud. The girl didn't flinch. You have a family? No. Where'd you come from? I already told you. That Jesse sent you? Yeah. Dead boys don't send girls anywhere. Are you sure about that? The woman looked at the stove, then the table, then the girl. Her shirt hung loose. Too big. The collar was torn at the seam. She hadn't bathed. Not really. Just splashed herself the night before and said she was done. You want to stay. You need to tell me something real. Like what? Your name. The girl scooped the last bite of potato. Names don't mean what people think they do. I didn't ask what they meant. I asked what yours is. It's just a sound. A sound I'm asking for. The girl looked up. You really want it? I asked, didn't I? All right then. The girl leaned forward, whispered something. The woman leaned in closer. What? The girl whispered again. This time the woman heard it, but it wasn't a name. It was a scream. Not loud, but drawn out like someone buried was screaming upward through her mouth. The woman slapped the table and stood. What the hell was that? The girl leaned back, calm, like she hadn't just let something unalive slip through her lips. You asked. I asked your name, not some damn noise. That noise was mine before I had a name. The woman's chest rose, then fell. You're not right. Neither was Jesse. You need to go. No. You don't get to say no. I do if I belong here. You don't. The girl stood. Then why's my name in your ledger? The room snapped. Silent. The woman's jaw clenched. You've been down there. You left the door unlocked. You went through my husband's things? I just read the list. There's no list down there with your name. There is now. The woman moved toward her. Fast. The girl didn't move. You listen to me. You don't go in that cellar again. You don't touch that ledger, and you don't speak his name in this house. You already said it 3 times. Don't get clever. I'm not. I'm just listening. To what? To what Jesse said. Enough. The woman grabbed the girl's arm. The spoon fell to the floor. The girl jerked back. "Don't touch me. You don't come into my house and lie and sneak and whisper things like that. You think I like hearing them." The woman paused. Something in the girl's face changed. Not fear, not defiance, just tired. "You hear things all the time. Only in houses like this." The woman picked up the spoon, set it on the table. "You're lying." "I'm not." "Then tell me who you are." "I already did." That scream. That was me once. The woman sat again, rubbed her temples. "You need help." "I need quiet." "You don't belong here." "I do." "Jesse said you'd fight it first. Then you'd see." "See what?" "That you need me." "For what?" The girl looked around the room. At the nail by the door where Jesse's coat used to hang, the picture is still face down on the sideboard. "For remembering right." The woman stared at the wall. "You want to stay," she said finally. "You work." "I said I would." "You fix the rail by the pasture today." "All right." "You eat, you clean. You don't go in that cellar. I already read what I needed." "You don't speak what's not yours." The girl nodded. "I don't want trouble," the woman said. "Trouble's already here." The woman sighed. "What do I call you then?" The girl looked down. "You don't have to call me anything." "I can't call you nothing." "Then call me girl." "What did Jesse call you?" "Sometimes." "And other times?" The girl didn't answer. They spent the day outside, mending the fence. The girl didn't speak once. The woman didn't ask her to. But she watched. The way she moved quietly. The way she avoided the barn's west side. The way she didn't touch the table again that night. Just curled up beside it like it knew her better than the bed ever would. At midnight, the house creaked. The woman sat up. In the dark, the girl's voice came soft again. "Jesse." The name curled like smoke, then quieter. "You said she'd listen. You said she still hears things when the floor talks." The woman sat at the edge of her bed, hands in her lap. Down the hall, the girl whispered again. "She doesn't want to remember, but I do." The woman stood, bare feet cold on the floor. She opened the door. The girl was awake, eyes open, spoon in hand. "You heard it, didn't you?" the girl asked. The woman didn't answer. "You gonna ask again?" "No." "You scared?" "A little." The girl nodded. "Good." "Why?" "Means you're still in there." The woman stepped back, closed the door. She didn't sleep. She didn't need to. The whisper had already said enough. The girl's hand stayed on the quilt long after the woman had turned away. She ran her fingers across the bottom edge, right where the thread looped into the J. Her mouth stayed shut, but something moved in her throat. The woman stood at the doorway. "That's not yours." "I didn't take it." "You don't touch it." "I just looked." "You traced the name." "It was already there." The woman stepped forward. "Don't play games." "I'm not." "It's stitched in, same as it was yesterday, same as it was when he was still breathing." "You never met him." "I think I did." "You didn't." "You don't know everything." "I know you weren't here. I've always been somewhere close." The woman yanked the quilt from the line. I folded it quickly, tight. "You folded it wrong," the girl said. "I folded it fast." "That ain't the same." "Don't matter how it's folded. It's not yours to hold." "You're scared of what's in it." The woman stared. "You think if you leave it hanging, he's still here?" "It's my quilt. It stays where I want it. It's not just yours." The woman walked off, quilt in her arms. The girl followed. "Why'd you leave it up if it hurts to look at—" "I said drop it. You left it where the sun hits the thread. That's what ruins quilts. You sew now." "I've been around." The woman reached the bedroom and laid the quilt flat across the cedar chest. "You touch it again, I take your plate. Then I'll eat off the floor. Keep smarting off, you'll be outside with the fence dogs." "You had dogs?" "Jesse did." "What happened to them?" "They ran off after the fire." "Smart dogs." "That's supposed to mean something." "Means they smelled something before it hit." The woman sat on the edge of the bed. "You think you're clever. You're not. I think I remember things that don't belong to me." "You don't get to say his name." "I didn't." "You want to stay another night?" "I do." "Then shut up." The girl didn't speak again, but she didn't leave the room either. She stood in the doorway, watching. The woman didn't look up. "You sleep under that table again. Don't move past the kitchen. All right. And keep your hands to yourself. The girl nodded and disappeared. That night, the woman heard the floor creak. She didn't get up, just stared at the ceiling again. Same as last time, same as every night since Jesse died. But this time, there was no whisper, just fabric stretching, thread pulling, the sound of something slowly unpicked. She rose without turning on the lamp. Her steps were light. Bare. The girl sat cross-legged in the hallway, quilt in her lap, pulling a seam loose. The woman's voice was sharp. "You went deaf?" The girl didn't jump, just looked up. "It's not what you think." "What is it then?" "He told me to look." "He told you nothing." "There's something inside." "It's cotton and cloth." "Number feel this." The girl held up the corner she'd torn. Inside the batting, something hard and dark. The woman snatched it. It was a button. Black. Heavy. Metal. "That came from his coat," the woman whispered. "I know." "Why's it in the quilt?" "You tell me. You sewed it." The woman backed up a step. "Not that part. Someone else did. I never stitched anything into it but his name. Then someone finished it after you. Nobody touched that quilt but me." The girl held up the spoon. "He said it was buried wrong." "What was it?" "The truth." "You need to stop talking like that." "He said you'd say that." "You blame me for the fire, too." "Number, I don't think it was your fire." "What do you think it was?" "A cover." "For what?" "You tell me." "I don't know." "Then let's find out." The woman looked at the torn seam. "You finish what you started, but you sew it back clean when you're done." "I will." She reached deeper into the batting, pulled out 2 more buttons, one with blood dried into the thread hole. The woman sat on the floor beside her. "That coat went missing the night they buried him." "You didn't bury him in it." "He never wore it again after what happened." "What happened?" "He told the sheriff something about what he saw in the well house." The girl stopped. "Was it burned?" "Not yet." "Then that's where we go next." "No." "Are you scared again?" "I'm tired." "You're not tired. You're remembering." The woman stood. "You sew that quilt. I mean it." "I will." "And you leave it be after that." "Maybe." "Not maybe. Yes." "You can't stop it now." "I can damn well try." "Then you're not listening." "I'm listening to the part where I get my house back." The woman walked off. The girl sat with the torn quilt and the buttons laid out on the floor like bones. She whispered again, low. Not Jesse's name this time, just a hum, the kind that filled a house whether you wanted it or not. In the morning, the quilt was back on the cedar chest, sewn shut again, but the fabric looked tired, like it had been forced to keep a secret a second time. The woman touched it once. Then I left it alone. The girl ate breakfast with clean hands and silent eyes. "Do you sleep at all?" "Some." "You dream?" "No." "You lie well." "I'm not lying." "Then I envy you." The girl finished her biscuit. "Are we going to the well house today?" The woman didn't answer. "I'll go without you." "You won't." "Are you going to stop me?" The woman stared at her for a long time. "No," she said. "I'm going to show you." The girl didn't flinch when she saw her name inked in someone else's hand. She just tilted her head and stared like it made perfect sense, like she'd always known she'd show up there. The woman leaned over her shoulder, eyes narrowed. "That wasn't there before. Then maybe you forgot." "I don't forget names in this book." "It's not your book. It's his." "He was the sheriff. That made it mine, too." The girl pointed. "You circled Jesse's name." "I didn't." "Then who did?" The woman took a step back. Her hand brushed the lantern. "You're trying to scare me," she said. "No." "Then what's this?" "It's true." The girl touched her own name. "I didn't write it." "No one should have." "Looks like someone did." The woman flipped back pages fast. They smelled like dust and dried soap. She stopped near the middle, ran her fingers down the columns. "See here, these are birth records. These are deaths." "You think I don't know what I'm looking at?" "I think you're trying to make me believe something I buried." "You didn't bury it well enough." The woman slammed the book shut. "You said Jesse came down here once." "He did." "What did he see?" "He said he saw something in the ledger." "And?" "He told me not to come back down after." "Have you ever asked him why?" "I didn't have to." "You should have." "Why?" "Because maybe he was trying to keep you from finding this." The woman opened the book again. Slower this time. She turned to Jesse's name, circled in red, the only one marked that way. Below it, scratched in the margin, smaller than the rest, was the girl's name. Same first, same middle, no last. You never told me your name. You never asked right. You gave me a scream. I gave you what I had. You gave me Jesse's voice. The girl sat on the cellar step. This book says you were born here. I wasn't. It says you died here. I didn't. Are you playing a game? I'm trying to finish one. The woman pressed her hand flat to the page. There's a date beside Jesse's name. Yeah. The day of the fire. The girl nodded. I know. But it wasn't the day he died. I know that too. You're saying someone changed it. I'm saying someone needed to make it look right. The woman stared at her. You think my husband did that? I think your husband knew too much. He wasn't perfect, but he wasn't a liar. Everybody lies eventually. The woman moved to the far cabinet, opened the drawer she hadn't touched in 3 years, pulled out the ink-stained key, set it on the table. He used this to lock the door after Jesse died. You sure? I watched him do it. Then how'd it get unlocked? I never came back down after that day. Maybe someone else did. There is no one else. There's always someone else. The lantern flickered. The girl stood. Tell me what else is in here. Nothing that concerns you. That's not your choice. This is my house. And that was your son. The woman gripped the edge of the table. You got one more sentence before I put you out. The girl walked to the corner, pulled open a narrow drawer and took out a folded piece of brown paper. It unfolded slowly. What is that? List of townspeople. Let me see. She passed it to the woman. Her hand trembled as she read. Jesse's name's here. Bottom of page. So's yours. I didn't write it. Neither did I. Then who did? Maybe the same person who circled Jesse's. The woman looked up. You think it was him? I think someone made sure they were paired. The woman dropped the paper. You believe in curses? No. Me either, but this feels like one. The girl sat back down. You ever ask why the fire only took the barn? It didn't. Then what else? It took his dog. Took his coat. Took his name? The woman blinked hard. I buried what was left. You sure that's all that got buried? Stop. Then why's my name in his ledger? Stop talking. Why's it beside his? The woman slapped the table. Because something was wrong here, and I didn't see it in time. The girl stared at her. Now you do? The woman's chest rose and fell. I see something. Doesn't mean I know what it is. The girl pointed to the ledger again. You gonna cross it out? No. Why not? Because maybe it belongs there, even if it's a lie. Especially if it is. The woman picked up the key. Have you ever heard anything down here? Sometimes. Voices. Numbered just a sound, like breathing. That's what I heard too. The girl took the ledger, turned it to the very last page. Blank, except for one line scrawled in the corner. You're not done remembering. The woman stepped back. That's not my husband's handwriting. No. You think Jesse wrote that? Dead boys don't write. Then who? I think maybe it was meant for you. The woman ran a hand over her face. We're not going to the well house. We have to. You want to end up in this book too? I already am. The woman said nothing. The girl touched the ledger. You gonna burn it? No. Good. Are you going to keep whispering? Only if you stop listening. The woman reached up, turned off the lantern. They stood in the dark for a long while, both waiting for something else to speak. The woman stopped mid-sentence. The name the girl whispered didn't belong to any living soul. It sounded like Calder or Coulter. The woman wasn't sure, but it settled in. The air like smoke, heavy, slow. She didn't speak for a while after that, just sat at the kitchen table, hands on her knees, staring at the girl, who stared back, calm as ever. You say that name again, the woman said, and I swear I'll drag you back to where you came from. The girl didn't blink. I already said it. What was it? You heard it. That ain't what I asked. The girl picked at the hem of her sleeve. You made this table, didn't you? The woman looked at it. It was for Jesse's wake. The girl nodded. I figured. The woman ran her hand across the grain. He didn't fit in the pine box. Not right, so I laid him here. Covered him in a sheet. Who came to see? No one that mattered. You invited them? No. Then why lay him out? He deserved to be seen. Did you cry? No. The girl touched the edge of the table. This is where I heard him the first time. When? The first night. The woman stood. You're not going to tell me he's haunting this table. He's not haunting it. Then what's he doing? Waiting. For what? You. The woman stepped away. Her jaw locked. I buried him whole. I lit the candle. I said goodbye. You think that's all it takes? It's what folks do. Not folks like us. What do you mean like us? You know what I mean. No, I don't. The girl looked down. Her fingers ran along the carved spoon. This table's still listening, she said. I never asked it to. You didn't have to. The woman pulled out a chair and sat across from her. I built it with my husband. It took us 2 nights. You plan it ahead? Number after. You built it fast. We had to. He was already gone. He was already cold. The girl's voice dropped. Did he look peaceful? No. The woman's eyes didn't move. His mouth was open. His hands were wrong. One looked broken. I kept trying to fix his fingers. What happened to them? They said he fell. But you didn't believe that. No. Then why'd you say goodbye? Because nobody else would. The girl leaned in. You still don't know what happened. No. You want to. Don't lie to me. I'm not. Then say the name again. No. Why? Because it doesn't want to be said twice. Then spell it. No. The woman folded her arms. You're playing something I don't like. I'm not playing anything. What was that name? I told you once. You said you'd help me remember. That doesn't sound like help. I never said remembering would feel good. They sat in silence. A clock ticked. The wind moved through the eaves. The table creaked like it was tired. The woman spoke. Lo, we used to eat here, just him and me. You still do. I don't set the table. He doesn't mind. He shouldn't be anywhere near this house. You called him back. No. You kept his spoon. I kept 100 things. That doesn't mean I called him. You folded his quilt. So? You circled his name. I didn't. Still, it's circled. The woman stood and stepped away. You believe in curses now? The girl asked. I believe in grief, and grief makes people see what they need. You needed to see your boy again? I needed him to be gone. Then why is his name still in your throat? The woman turned back. Her eyes were wet, but her mouth was hard. I don't cry. Not anymore. Maybe that's the problem. I buried that boy. I buried the fire. I buried everything. You didn't bury the table. The woman slammed her hand against it. It's a damn table. The girl didn't move. Say that name again. The woman said. No. Say it. It's not mine to say. Then why'd you whisper it? Because it wanted to be heard. The woman backed away. She walked to the door, rested her head against the frame. Have you ever lost someone? She asked. Yes. Who? A woman. Your mama? Don't know. You lie easy. Number I just don't remember her. That name you said, was it hers? No. Then who was it? Someone who left the fire unfinished. The woman turned. What fire? You tell me. I only had one. You think so? Don't start with that again. You think Jesse was the end of it. He wasn't. The woman stared at the girl. You talk like you're twice your age. Maybe I am. Maybe you're just full of stories. Maybe. They stared at each other across the table. The girl finally smiled. Are you scared again? No. Good. Because fear's not going to help either of us. The girl picked up the spoon. I turned it over. There's another seam in the quilt, she said. I checked it. You didn't check it right. What's in it? I don't know yet. You gonna rip it again? Not till tonight. Why wait? Because it always talks louder after dark. The woman nodded slowly. You gonna say Jesse's name again? Only if he asks. And the other one. The girl didn't answer. The woman looked down at the table, at the place where his head once laid. She reached out and touched it. Tell me when it starts again. It already has. They stood at the edge of the stone ring, listening to the wind moan out what sounded like Mama. The woman didn't move. You hear that? The girl asked. No. You're lying. The woman's arms stayed, crossed. Why'd you bring me here? You used to know. Know what? That this house didn't burn all the way. The well house looked hollow from a distance. Roof caved in, chimney brick split clean down the spine. Char had streaked one wall black, but it still stood, wrong, but standing. Jessie came here, the girl said. When? Before. Before the fire? Before you got quiet? The woman stared at the door. It sagged on one hinge. I thought it was ashes. It wasn't. They told me they found nothing. They weren't looking right. You're saying it was covered up? I'm saying it was left out. The girl stepped closer. Open it. You open it. It's not mine. You brought me. You know what's behind it. The woman's fingers curled at her side. She stepped forward, pulled the handle. The door scraped the ground. It opened slowly, heavy. The smell hit first. Boiled sugar, rotted fruit, wet metal. The woman covered her mouth. The girl didn't flinch. You smell that? Yeah. That's where he screamed from. The woman looked inside. The light barely reached the back. A cracked water pump sat in the corner. Old rope coiled beside it. A rusted pot nailed to the far beam. And on the wall, a badge. Sheriff's, nailed to the inside plank with a bent nail and something like dried wax beneath it. The woman stepped in. That's his. Your husband's? Number Jesse's. The girl tilted her head. He wore a badge. Just once. Why? He wanted to be useful. You let him? I didn't stop him. The woman walked to the badge, touched it. The metal was warped, edges blackened. The girl stared at the floor. Something burned here. Yeah. No ashes. No. No bone. No. Then what burned? The woman looked at the badge. You know what this place was used for? The girl asked. No. Sure you do. It was just the well house. It was more. Like what? Where people came to confess. To who? To whoever listened. The woman looked back at the girl. Are you making this up? No. Then who listened? The girl pointed to the well itself. A low stone circle, moss-grown, cracked in places. Sometimes the earth hears things first. I don't believe that. You believed worse. The woman moved to the edge. I looked down. Water. Still. No rope. No bucket. Something's floating, she said. I know. The girl leaned over beside her. It was cloth. Wadded, dark with mildew, threadbare and soft. You think it's the coat? The girl nodded. Jesse's? Maybe. The woman took a long breath. She stepped back, looked again at the inside of the well house. A drawer had been left open. I don't remember being here. It wasn't. The woman walked to it, pulled the drawer out. Inside, a photograph. Half burned, curled at the corner, blackened with soot. She picked it up. What's in it? The girl asked. The woman held it closer. Her voice cracked. Me. And him. Who else? Another man. The girl leaned in. He's got your eyes, she said. No. Yes. The woman shoved the photo in her coat. What was this place? The girl asked. Nothing you need to know. Tell me. No. I saw you look scared. I ain't scared. Then tell me. The woman stepped out into the light. You think you know everything. No. You act like it. I just ask better. You talk like Jesse. I listen like him too. The woman stopped at the door. I looked back. This place was where my husband took people to get the truth. He tortured them? No. Then what? He waited till they told him what he wanted. And if they didn't? He made them. The girl looked toward the well. Jesse came here alone? Yes. Why? He found something. What? I don't know. You never asked. He stopped talking. Because of this place? Maybe. The woman looked back inside. I thought this burned. You were meant to. The woman looked at the badge again, reached up, yanked it off the wall. It came loose with a crack. The wax crumbled. Something else fell with it. A button. The girl picked it up. Carved. Same kind as the one in the quilt. He wore this, the girl said. I know. This is where they took it from him. The woman looked away. Why'd your husband hang the badge? He wanted to end it. End what? Whatever started here. Too late? Yeah. The girl touched the well's stones. You gonna throw it in? She asked. The woman held the badge tighter. No. Then what? I'm keeping it. For what? In case someone asks what happened here. You gonna tell them the truth? I might. The girl stepped out beside her. The smell still clung to their clothes. Are you ready to leave it open? The girl asked. No. You think it's gonna stay shut this time? Nothing stays shut. They started walking back toward the house. The girl looked once more over her shoulder. The fire didn't start in the barn. I know. You knew all along. No. You felt it, though. I did. They walked in silence. Near the porch, the woman finally spoke. I never wanted him near that place. But he went anyway. Yeah. Think he saw something? I think he became part of it. The girl nodded. Inside, the table waited. And under it, a shadow already stretched too far. The woman didn't blink when the girl's voice shifted mid-word. She sat still in the kitchen chair, hands loose in her lap, gaze steady. The voice wasn't the girl's anymore. It was too old, too dry. It scraped through the room like a boot across gravel. The girl kept reading. To the one they call the girl born twice. If you are reading this, then the debt wasn't paid, and someone else has to carry it. The woman leaned forward. Where'd you find that? Back of the ledger. Have you been in it again? You left it open. I didn't leave it that open. The girl didn't stop reading. There was once a boy who spoke the truth out of turn. He wore the badge before he earned it. He listened too well, and someone listened back. The woman's jaw clenched. You done now? The girl turned the page. Still more. I said stop. The girl looked up. Her eyes were still hers, but the voice kept coming from somewhere else. The fire was meant for the rope, not the boy. But the boy walked in first. That's why the rope was never found. The woman stood, knocked the book off the table. Enough. The girl didn't flinch. She bent down, picked it up, and turned to the same page. You should read it, she said. I don't need to. It's got your husband's name at the bottom. The woman froze. Are you lying? No. Let me see it. The girl passed the page. The handwriting wasn't clean. It was the kind done by someone afraid they'd be interrupted. The woman stared at the signature. It was his. You said he never came back to the ledger. I didn't know he did. You think he wrote this before Jesse died? No. Then when? After the well house. The woman sat back down. He knew something. He always did. The girl folded the page again, slid it back between the covers. You believe me now? She asked. The woman stared out of the window. I believe you're not who you said you were. I never said who I was. You think that's clever? No. You think Jesse's death was the debt? Not his alone. Then who else? You. The woman shook her head. I buried him. I laid the quilt. I folded the badge. I did my part. You never told the truth. I didn't know it. You did. The girl opened the ledger again. There was another paper behind the letter. She pulled it out slowly. What now? This one's for you. How do you know? It says your name. The woman snatched it, read it fast. It was a list. Names. Heron Jesse's, the girls, and 4 more. Sheriff, deputy, mayor, pastor. Each name had a mark beside it. One burned, one drowned, one vanished, one buried. Only hers didn't have a mark. What's this? A map. Of what? How many stayed quiet? The girl pointed to the burned name. That was the deputy, wasn't it? Yes. He set the fire. No. Then what? He told someone else to. The woman folded the list. Why now? She asked. Because you're the last name left unmarked. You think that means I'm next? No. Then what does it mean? You're supposed to finish it. The woman looked down. I'm no sheriff. You don't have to be. I don't know how to end things like this. You started it. I didn't. You circled Jesse's name. The woman stared at the girl. You said I didn't. You did it in your sleep. The woman rose, slow. You watching me while I sleep? No. Then how'd you know? I hear things. That ledger's poisoned. Maybe. You think this letter's true. I think that's all that's left. The woman moved to the shelf, pulled down the old tin box. Inside, a matchbook. One left. Are you planning to burn it? No. Then what? She lit the match. Hold it near the corner of the letter. Watch the flame flirt with the edge, then go out. Won't burn, she said. It's not meant to. What am I supposed to do with it? Say it. Say what? The name. The woman stepped back. No. You have to. I won't. He's waiting. No. He's the last one left in the well. I buried him. Not deep enough. The woman picked up the ledger, carried it to the sink. Let the pages hit the basin. She turned the faucet. Nothing came out. She tried again. Still nothing. The girl spoke low. It doesn't want to drown. The woman backed away. What is it? Your truth. You think I kept it hidden? I think you kept it breathing. She slammed the ledger shut, tied the strap around it, threw it under the sink. You can't bury it in a cabinet, the girl said. I can try. The woman leaned against the counter. Her hands shook. He made me lie. I know. He told me to say Jesse tripped. I know. He told me to burn the letter before anyone saw it. But you didn't. No. You kept it. I don't know why. You do. The woman looked at her. I wanted someone to find it. And I did. The girl stood. You gonna finish it? She asked. How? Go to the last name. Mine? Yes. The woman opened the drawer, pulled out the badge. Then what? You put it where it belongs. Back in the well. No. Then where? The girl held out her hand. I'll take it. The woman placed the badge in her palm. Are you sure you're ready? I was born for this. Once or twice? The girl smiled. Twice. The dirt came loose too fast, like someone had already been digging there from below. The woman wiped sweat from her brow. You sure this is it? The girl stood barefoot in the field, arms slack at her sides. You're holding the shovel. That's not what I asked. You're the one who used to keep things here. I buried scraps, chickens, a dog once. You buried more than that. The woman shoved the shovel in again. The soil turned over soft, damp. I don't see no coffin. There isn't one. You said it was a grave. I said dig. The woman paused. Have you ever dug a real one? I've been inside one. Alive? Mostly. The woman knelt, brushed dirt aside with her hands. Her fingers hit something hard. She froze. The girl didn't move. You feel that? The woman asked. Yeah. It's wood. No. Metal. Try again. The woman pulled it out slowly. A spoon. Not new. Not the one the girl carried. It was older, thicker, one side blackened, dried blood on the handle, carved into it. Jesse. The woman stared at it like it had spoken. I gave him one, she said. I know. I thought that was it. There were two. Why? One for speaking. And the other? For silence. The woman sat back. Which one is this? You tell me. It was buried. Then it's the one he never got to use. The girl crouched beside her. He meant to hide it here. No. Then who did? You did. No. You were the only one left. The woman turned the spoon over. The dried blood had run toward the name. You think this came from the well house? She asked. No. Then from where? He cut his hand trying to climb out. Out of what? The field. The woman looked at the earth around them. This was his grave. Not for the body. For what then? For the part of him that stayed quiet. The wind moved low through the grass. The girl took the spoon. I heard him here, she said. When? Last night. What did he say? Nothing. That's not like him. He was too tired. The woman looked at the empty hole. Now what? We dig again. Where? Beside it. How many graves do you think are back here? Enough. The woman pressed her palm to the ground. I used to plant corn here. Now you dig memory. I'd rather plant. You already did. The woman grabbed the shovel, moved a few feet left. Here? The girl nodded. She dug slower this time. Every crunch of metal into dirt sounded like something unspoken. The shovel struck something else. Clothes. The woman knelt again, pulled gently. A square of fabric, torn, quilted, stained. From the blanket, she whispered. Yeah. He must have carried it. The woman folded it twice, set it beside her. He was trying to come home. He did. Too late. Right on time. The woman looked up. You still haven't told me what you are. I'm the echo. Of Jesse? No. Then of who? The part that remembers. The woman stood. That ain't an answer. You want a clean one. I want something real. You've been real this whole time. You talk like a story. I am one. The woman held the shovel out. You dig. The girl didn't take it. You don't want to touch it? The woman asked. Not mine to hold. You sure? The girl nodded. You buried your part already. The woman stared at the broken square of cloth. This is yours. No. Then whose? Hi. It wasn't in the box. Because it wasn't ready. To be found. To be remembered. The woman dropped the shovel, sat in the dirt. You think memory's enough? It has to be. What if it's not? Then it becomes silent. And silence doesn't save anybody. The girl looked at the hole again. It saves what's left. The woman wiped her hands on her dress. You think I killed him? No. Think I let him die? Yes. Why? You were too scared to tell the truth. I thought it'd break this house. It did. The woman stood. I didn't want this. You got it anyway. The girl picked up the spoon. You gonna keep that? No. Then where's it going? The girl placed it back in the dirt, covered it with one hand. The woman helped her bury it again, this time slower. Together. When the dirt was flat, the girl pressed her palm to it. He said thank you, she said. The woman's voice cracked. For what? For digging the second time. The woman closed her eyes. You hear him again? No. You still will? Yes. The woman looked at the bare field, at the house beyond it. How many more do you think there are? Just one. Whose? Mine. The ledger still sat open. The last page fluttered. The woman stepped over, flattened it. One more line had been added. She remembered. She stood there a long while. No lamp on, no sound but the boards creaking in her spine. Then she closed the book, this time with both hands. This time it mattered. She tied the leather strap slowly. Not careful, not tight. Just enough to keep it from speaking. The table behind her sat still, empty. No quilt, no girl, no spoon. Just a table again. She sat, pulled the chair back with a soft scrape. Her palms lay flat on the surface. Same spot where Jessie once laid. Same spot the girl had curled under. Same wood, same knots, same weight. But no breath left in it now. She whispered, You gone? No answer. Good. Still nothing. Her hands stayed down. Her eyes didn't. They stayed on the window where the porch showed quiet. No sign of the girl, no prints, no spoon left behind, just sky trying to be morning. She didn't eat that day, didn't sew, didn't light the stove. She swept once, folded the quilt again, tied a knot in the corner she'd never tied before. At dusk, she opened the drawer where the badge used to live. It was still gone. She smiled a little. By nightfall, the silence was thick again. Not sharp, not mean, just full. The kind of silence that knew things now. She sat by the table one more time, set her hands down again. This time she said nothing. This time she waited. The wind picked up once through the kitchen cracks. Settled. Floor creaked near the hallway. She didn't look. She whispered her own name. Not loud, not proud, just enough to hear it aloud once. May. The table didn't move, but something did. Underneath. Not footsteps, not scraping. Just breathe. And then the whisper came. Right from under her. May. Her name. Not Jessie's. Not the girl's. Just hers. It didn't come loud, didn't try to scare. It came like someone remembering her, like someone saying, You're still here. She didn't flinch, didn't speak. She just let it echo. May. One more time. This one is softer, more tired, like it was the last time it would ever say it. She slid off the chair, got down on one knee, lowered herself to the floor. The table above her groaned a little. She peered underneath. Nothing, just shadow and old dust. But the air was warmer there. She knelt fully, laid a hand flat under the table. No movement, no voice now. Just heat, faint and steady, where the girl had once curled up, where Jessie had once been laid, where memory liked to rest. She stayed there, eyes closed, hand flat, breathing. The whisper never came again. Not that night, not the next. But the name stayed in the room. Every time she said it now, it felt different. It didn't echo. It didn't sting. It stayed, like it belonged. She sewed the quilt one final time, this time with the square the girl had left, this time with no name stitched in. She hung it back up on the rail, not to remember Jessie, not to hold on to grief, but to say, "It's done." The next day, she opened the ledger one last time. It didn't flutter. It sat still. She flipped to the back. One more line had been added again. She listened. She closed it. No strap this time. She didn't need it to be quiet. She didn't need it loud. She just needed it open. By spring, no one had come looking for the girl. No one ever did. No name got added to town logs. No badge returned to her porch. But a spoon showed up once, on the step, carved the same. Blood, long faded. Name scratched out. She kept it in the drawer, next to a folded piece of paper she never showed anyone. The one that started, "To the girl born twice," and ended with, "She never needed a name, just a place to leave the whisper." One morning, she made 2 cups of tea, set one at the table, didn't touch it, didn't speak to it, just sat quiet. When it cooled, she drank both. Nothing haunted her anymore. The girl had carried it out. The whisper had stayed. And May? May was just May again. No ledger, no guilt, no fire left in the floorboards. Just a name spoken right, once, and left to rest. The girl left before dawn. No knock, no spoon, no goodbye. Just her shadow gone from the wall, and the sound of the back door catching the wind on its way out. The woman stood in the kitchen barefoot, holding a cup she hadn't filled. The chair was still pulled out from last night. The floor under the table looked colder now. She didn't call after her. She just stood there, blinking. The house didn't creak, didn't moan, didn't whisper Jessie's name like it had every night since the girl came. She walked to the stove, didn't light it, set the cup down, went to the table, pulled out the chair. Saturday. Nothing in front of her, just empty wood. The same table that once held her son's body. The same table the girl had curled under like it remembered her better than May ever could. May. She mouthed her own name, didn't say it aloud, didn't feel like hers yet. She turned her head slowly toward the drawer. I opened it. Inside, the ledger. Still bound. Still heavy. She didn't open it. I didn't need to. She knew what it said now. That the girl was never listed. That the girl didn't exist the way people expected her to. Didn't come from a mother. Didn't belong to a house. Didn't have a name you could prove. She just came when someone stopped remembering right, and left when the remembering was done. May stood, carried the ledger to the sink, set it down, run the water. Didn't dunk it, just let it sit near the basin like a thing that had nothing left to tell. She made tea. Pour 1 cup. Pour unsecond. I didn't drink either. Sat down again. I watched the steam fade. By afternoon, she walked the fence line. Didn't check for brakes. Didn't call the hens. Didn't tend the soil. Just walked. When she came back, the quilt was still folded on the chair. She picked it up, hung it over the back rail. This time not as a warning, not as a shrine, just as a thing stitched by a hand that finally had nothing left to hide. By dusk, she was back in the kitchen. Same chair, same table, same spot Jessie used to sit, same one the girl had whispered beneath. The spoon wasn't there anymore. She didn't mind. She didn't go looking for it. The silence came back. But it wasn't the same. It didn't hum like it did before the girl came. Didn't stretch across the walls like it owned them. It just sat with her. Settled. Still. That night, she didn't go to bed. She sat in the dark, lamp unlit, the smell of the earth still. In her sleeves from the last time she dug. And she waited. For nothing in particular. For something she couldn't name. And when the clock hit just past midnight, the floor under the table groaned once. Then again. May didn't move. She breathed. Software steady. Then from beneath the table, a whisper. Not loud. Not Jessie's. Not the girl's. Just a voice low and breath-warmed, pressed into the baseboards like it had been waiting to speak for years. May. She didn't answer. Just slid off her chair and to her knees. She placed one hand flat on the floor. I felt nothing. Then again. May. The whisper was smaller this time, but clearer. Her name. Only her name. No question about it. No sorrow. Just a callback. A confirmation. May leaned her cheek to the floor. The wood still held the shape of a girl curled under it. She whispered, "Is it you?" No answer. Just the faintest pull in her chest, like something loosening from behind her ribs. She closed her eyes, breathed deep. The floor gave a soft breath back, or maybe it was just her. Mama. This time, it was a different whisper, not Jessie's voice, not her own, not the girl's either. It sounded like something unborn, like a name that hadn't been written yet, something waiting for her to say yes. She stayed there a long time, didn't cry, didn't run, didn't speak for a while. She let the silence hold her, not as a punishment, not as a weight, but as a place. A room within the house that had never had walls before, and when the whisper came again, "Mama," she smiled. Her hand stayed flat. The wood stayed warm, and this time she whispered back,